They love a good bridge over here, don't they?
They do. What was this one called? I forgot.
Delaware River Bridge.
So where are we now?
We're entering Philadelphia. Actually, no, we're about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. I'm not quite sure where we are now. We're somewhere in Penn State. So if we're in Penn State, we've got to get some pretzels.
Cheesecake.
Yeah.
A cheesecake and a Philly cheesesteak.
Yes.
Everything's got to right.
Yeah. Bagels as well. Bagel.
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
I had a bagel with Philadelphia cheese on it. That's how much I would compare myself.
Yeah, me too.
Skyline's looking good in the distance there. No shortage of injury lawyers billboards, is there? It's every other one. It's crazy. I don't know why, I just didn't realise that Philadelphia would be so...
In 2 miles,
commercial.
use the right 2 lanes to take exit 22 for Independence Hall, Callowhill Street towards I-676 East.
Ice cream truck there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's creepy. That's one creepy ice cream truck.
That is really creepy. That's got to be driven by a murderer.
Mr. Softy.
Mr. Softy Shop. Signor Whippy. Yeah, definitely.
It's really scary.
Oh, that's just a little truck, that one. Independence Hall, that's where we're going.
Is it?
Yeah, well, what is this on? Good morning everyone from the historic city of Philadelphia. We've got another vlog for you today, bringing you all the sights that there are here at Philadelphia. Incredible, important place in US history here. Of course, important for the Civil War, and it was, of course, the capital until the 1800s as well. More on that later on, so let's go and check it out. We've got the bus tour today. We're going to see Liberty Bell, and we're going to see also the all-important Rocky Steps as well. So I can't wait for that. So, you excited, guys?
Yeah.
You excited? Yeah. Let's go check out Philadelphia. So we're just over by where the Liberty Bell is actually, and we've come to see, here's the foundations for the old presidential palace. Well, not palace.
Not palace.
No.
House.
President's house. Which was actually a 19th century building. So not actually, in our terms, it's not actually old, is it?
We lived in a house that was 19th century.
We did, didn't we?
It makes us laugh that we could have put like this structure around it and got people to come to the tourist attraction.
But having said that, it's more to do with whose house it was rather than the actual age of it, I guess, which is why they're trying to preserve it, which is a good bit of history. But yeah, in the scheme of things, it's not actually that old, is it? But it's quite cool to see it.
It's like in our back garden now.
It does, yeah. There's lots of old things around there. Yeah, it's quite cool though. So there is the Liberty Bell with the famous crack that goes along the outside of it. Huge amount of symbolic importance this has for the whole nation. You can see the truss that's above the top of it as well to hold it on. Incredible, really. There it is, the Liberty Bell. Incidentally, the crack that runs down the outside of it is actually as a result of them trying to repair it and actually cause more harm than good. But there it is. It's the Liberty Bell. You alright? What do you think, dude?
It's really good because it's got a really big crack on it on the other side.
Yeah, it does have a really big crack, doesn't it? Because they tried to fix it and they made it worse, didn't they? So yeah, that's really cool. This is a massive amount of importance for American history and for the revolution, for independence. Did you know that?
No.
Well, there you go. So that is. I mean, in terms of it, the bell itself doesn't actually serve anything, but it's more of a symbolic meaning of what it means fought the independence to the United Kingdom. So yeah, great to see it. So we're on the Big Bus tour. I just want to say massive thank you to Big Bus for giving us complimentary tickets today for the Philadelphia bus tour. So we're on the open bus. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be a really, really nice tour. Looking forward to seeing some of the sights here of Philadelphia. We've already seen Liberty Bell, of course. We're going to go around and see some of the other sites like the Rocky Steps and all the other things that are important.
Hello everyone, welcome to Philadelphia City. Philadelphia only about 2.5 square miles. We went from the Delaware River down to the Schuylkill River. But today, about another 9 miles ahead of us to the south, about 9 miles behind us to the north. Taking a look at that building straight ahead, that building is Congress Hall, where the Continental Congress met. They met on both floors of the building, both the first and second floor. This became known in our political system as the upper and lower houses, terms we still use today. Now, the Liberty Bell, the most popular tourist destination in all of Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell is actually in this compound over here. You'll see it a little bit from the left side of the bus. The Liberty Bell, up until 1876, used to be in the building there in the center, Independence Hall. And Independence Hall, the building in the center, our most important historic building in the city. That's where the Declaration of Independence was signed and the Constitution was ratified. This is actually the back of Independence Hall. Later on the tour, we'll see the other part. And the bell that is in there now, that is called the Centennial Bell. It's from 1876. The Centennial Bell, they ring it once an hour. It weighs 13,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds for each of the 13 original colonies, whereas the Liberty Bell is slightly over a ton. From Independence Hall here on the right to the Constitution Center there on the left, that's called Independence Mall, and that's where a lot of our political demonstrations take place. Today, one about China and Tibet. The building over there on the corner, that is where the Supreme Court of the United States met when Philadelphia was the capital of the nation between the years 1792 and 1800. We're now coming up on the Bourse building. Bourse is actually a French term. It means stock market. And here is where the Philadelphia stock market met before our original commodities exchange. Met in this building from 1895. And this is one of the few brownstone buildings in this part of the city. Later on in the tour, we'll come to an area very well known for its brownstones. Again, guess that by looking at the sleeping look in the exterior, but it actually produces 2 million points per hour and also makes all the Purple Hearts for the military. It was the only mint at the time of the American Revolution, and if you look through any coins in your pocket and any of them have a P on it, it meant they came from here, Philadelphia. So of course they have to stay here. Just kidding, worth a try. We're now on the outer edge of the original city of Philadelphia, and today, as I said, Philadelphia goes about another 9 miles in front. Right on the right here, this is Patty's Pub from the original TV show. Take a look at the alley there too. We have a lot of these alleys here in Philadelphia. Hopefully give them a colonial feel to it. Taking a look at that bridge right in front of us, this beautiful suspension bridge, finished in July of 1926 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That is the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. It's 1.7 miles across. It was made to be the largest bridge in the world, and it was at the time when they built it in 1926. By contrast, today it's only the 71st largest. So they certainly got a lot bigger with time. Now you can drive across it, you can take a train across it, you can even walk across it. But we don't recommend you walk all the way across. Number one reason, you'll end up in Camden. Number two reason, you'll end up in Camden in the middle of the highway without a car. Taking a look over here on the left, this is Fireman's Hall Museum. It's a working firehouse till 1902. In 1952, it became a museum focusing on the Philadelphia Fire Company. Looks at the fire company all the way from the colonial period up to today. You may want to get your cameras out for what you're going to see here on the left, something very important, one of the most famous streets in all of America. This is Alfred's Alley from 1702, longest continuously occupied street in America. It is 32 homes of the Federal and Georgian style, and it's always been residential. Now, 2 of them are actually open up as a museum, so you can see what it used to look like. And if you find you really like it, they even have a third available as a bed and breakfast. But don't expect anything grand. This is not going to be the Four Seasons light. This was a working class area at the time, so they want to give that impression, even though it's completely false today. It's named after Jeremiah Alfred, a blacksmith, but believe me when I tell you no blacksmith could afford to live here in this part of the city today. We're now on what used to be called Mulberry Street, but its original name was, after a tree, Sassafras Street. I'm sorry, it was originally, today's Arch Street. It used to be called Mulberry Street. Take a look over here on the right. We're coming to the Betsy Ross house. Does anyone want to get off with Betsy Ross? Okay, no one coming down for Betsy. All right, Betsy Ross, known as the seamstress of the American Revolution. You can see a crypt there on the left side of the courtyard, and that's a greenish-looking structure. And Betsy rented this home. She never owned it. She lived here with her 3 husbands and her 6 daughters, so kind of crowded. Well, she gets her name from her first husband, John Ross, who was a rector at Christ Church. Her second husband turned out to be a pirate. They caught him for piracy. He ends up in the Tower of London, and she never gets to see him again. So where does she meet her third husband? She gets to meet him when the second one, when the tower about the second one being arrested, and that she'd never see him, she asked, "Will you marry me?" And he did. And between the second and third husband, she had 6 daughters, no sons. Taking a look over here on the left, this is the original Quaker meeting house that William Penn attended. It's called the Arch Street Meeting. Taking a look over here on the left at these prisms on the parking garage. This is probably the first time you're going to put these words together in a sentence. Interesting and parking garage. And that's because of the prisms. They're part of our 1% for Art program, which 1% of the construction costs of major buildings in Philly since the 50s used for the creation of public art. Another example would be these 4 dragons here. Now, believe it or not, these dragons, they weigh over a ton each. Each one represents one of the 4 seasons. Now, I would never gather that weight by looking at them. To me, they look pretty elongated, but no, they're very solid. Well, we are now coming to Chinatown. Elements of the Chinese junk, the ship, and also a pagoda. And believe it or not, was a gift given to us by our sister city, Xianzhen, China, in 1984. No nails, no screws, like the pyramids of Egypt. The whole thing kept in place by its weight. Something truly remarkable. What a nice gift. They sent in both the artisans and the craftsmen, of the artisan craftsmen, as well as the materials in 1901. It's in the French Second Empire style. Has over 250 statues, all made of bronze and marble. And if you look there at the top, that is William Penn. William Penn overlooking Penn Treaty Park, where he signed the treaty with the Native Americans. He is the largest figure on top of a building in the entire world. He's 37.5 feet tall. The building 547.5 feet. You used to be able to go up into the brim of his hat, actually. But they haven't allowed that for about 40 years. Take a look at this beautiful tower over here on the right. That tower is part of that's in the Norman style of architecture. That's the Masonic Temple of Philadelphia, finished 1873. Over there on the right, that is Ben Franklin at the printing press. And look at this interesting sculpture. This is called Freedom of the People, date on this 1976. It shows the struggling for democratic ideas. So all the political squabbling I'm sure we're all sick of today, nothing new. Same thing back in ancient Athens in the 5th century BC, where the concept of demos came about. This was very industrialized during the mid-19th century. We had Stetson hat, Baldwin locomotive, and lots of different breweries. Now, all this fascination people have with craft brews today, everyone likes to think they're inventing something new. It's kind of like reinventing the wheel. They had craft brews. All the brews were craft brews in the mid-19th century. Well, one of the brewer owners lived in this beautiful mansion here on the left. This building is called the Bergdahl Mansion from 1886. The workers, they owned one of the breweries. Their workers lived in the brownstones on the right. And this is their summer place, by the way. His son became famous for a Philadelphia scandal. Well, he tried to avoid service in World War I. Can't say I blame them, but they caught him. He ended up 2.5 years in jail, a year longer than if he had just fought in World War I. America was only in it from April 1917 to November 2nd, 1918. They caught him, and his family got so embarrassed by his shenanigans, they actually changed the spelling of their last name. So we definitely see different views about national service. Without the other, both rely on things from the other. Kind of an interesting idea. If you look at that sculpture over there on the right, the orangish red one, that is made from the remains of the trade towers. There's 19 of them throughout the country, all exactly the same. There's a big debate. We have on many Sundays different parades. The purple there on the steps is not usually there. I'm not sure what it's there for, but anyone does? No one coming down for the Institute. And did anyone notice that biplane in front of it? That biplane is made by the Budd Company, spelled with 2 D's. They were known for making railroad cars and beer can tops, so they very easily could have made it for Budd with 1 D. But they ventured off and tried to make a plane as an experiment. Everyone was laughing at them. They said, "They'll never fly. It's too heavy." It flew perfectly, unlike the cracked Liberty Bell, which was doomed from the start. Now, look over here on the right. This is the Philadelphia. Everyone said, "I can't wait to see what it is. It's going to be something so amazing." What is it? Then they're like, "A clothespin? What on earth does that have to do with Philadelphia?" Short answer, nothing at all. Then they try to analyze it. They say there must be some hidden meaning there. The top looks like 2 people kissing, and the side looks like a 6. Here 76, here it's unveiled. The other side looks like a 7. So they asked this Scandinavian artist, a man by the name of Klaus. They said, "Klaus, is that what it is? You're a genius, Klaus." So they answered, "No, just a clothespin." Over here on the right, if you have an extra $30 million, you can buy a condo for the top of this building, Ritz-Carlton condominiums. If you have an extra $4 million, you can stay there on the lower floors. They do get services at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel over here across the street. And now we're going on to, this is the Avenue of the Arts, also called South Broad Street. Many of our arts institutions Okay, our next stop would be the Bellevue. Does anyone want to get off at the Bellevue? No one coming down.
It does look like that, doesn't it?
Over here on the right, this is the Bellevue Stratford, our finest hotel for many years. That was a 1,000-room hotel known as the Grand Ball of Broad Street. Over there, that chandelier created by Thomas Edison, still in use. And the building is in the French Renaissance style. They're only worth about $1.5 million here. Nothing bigger than about 800 square feet, by the way. Now, if you were in this area during the late 1940s, early 50s, this was a slum. One of the worst areas of Philadelphia. The buildings were decrepit, they were falling apart, the area was dangerous. No one would go out here after dark. They were talking about burning it all down. Thank God they managed to save it. Over here on the left, this is a dive bar here in Philadelphia called Dirty Frank's, named for the second owner's hygiene problem. So it does show you it matters what you look like when you go out. I keep telling that to my students when they keep coming to class in pajamas. Well, it also became a speakeasy during the Great Depression, which is why it has no windows in front of it. But that can be a good thing today. At least nobody can see how much you're drinking. If that is your goal, it is cash only. As the Boy Scouts say, read the prayer. Over here on the left, the oldest LGBTQ bookstore in the country. That is Giovanni's Room, named after an African-American gay writer by the name of James Baldwin. Baldwin visited Giovanni's Room slightly before his death in 1980.
So we've come down to Bourse Hall now to check out a genuine, real Philadelphia cheesecake. Cheesecake? No, cheesesteak. And I can't even talk properly. So Philadelphia cheesesteak. So this was a full one. We've cut it in half. We've got the large fries, a large onion rings, a drink. All of that
was $35. So it's not the cheapest, however it looks immense. I've had a quick taste of that and it tastes amazing. So yeah, we're going to tuck in and enjoy the rest of it. How is it, Robin?
Real good.
Is yours good, Casper, the onion rings?
Yeah.
Awesome, let's get in the rest of it.
Oh, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Or the Eagles, as they like to say around here. Big stadiums, them, aren't they? Look a lot better than Old Trafford, wouldn't you say? High up, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like gods. Like solar panels.
It's like it, yeah.
That's quite good.
The Wells Fargo Centre.
That's obviously the music arena. Or is it that basketball, isn't it?
No.
Seaside, isn't it? I've been there yesterday. Not to the seaside yesterday. Yeah.
Well, there's bridges over there, aren't there?
That's a bit bouncy, this road.
Well,
In a quarter of a mile, turn left onto Maryland 136 South.
it'd be better with a GoPro, really, wouldn't it?
People's houses are there, like massive houses. Again.
Middle of nowhere. This is Maryland. And it looks very rural.
What Maryland famous for? Cookies.
Cookies, yeah.
Are they even made in Maryland?
No, I think they're actually made in Skelmersdale.
No. That's good then.
Take the next left onto Maryland 136 South.
Mummy, pumpkin.
Nice little shop. Post office.
Continue on Maryland 136 South for 4 miles.
I do feel like I'm kind of in Stand By Me. Like, set. Right, after a busy day in, where were we yesterday? I've lost track. Philadelphia yesterday. We've had a stay in a hotel, which is another Hilton, Hampton by Hilton, which is in Baltimore, this one. So let's give you a little room tour of the room that we're staying in. There was a few issues at first because they tried giving us a room that had one bed, which would have been quite interesting with the children. I mean, with Eden, just what we tend to do is, because she's so small and she's still in a toddler bed at the moment, we have a blow-up bed, which is what we use for her, which is absolutely ideal. It's got sides around it and everything if you haven't seen them before, and it's ideal for her. Blow it up, put it down each day, and then Casper will be on the sofa bed. So, but there was only one bed, so we had to swap the rooms around. Exactly the same rooms, but she didn't have a second bed. So I'll show you into the. This is where you first come in. So I'll just spin the camera around now. And there's Casper. He's here to greet you. Say hi.
Hi.
So this is the bathroom. It all looks very nice. To be fair, it's not too dissimilar to where we were before. Except that was an accessible room, so it's a little bit smaller, I guess. And there is the WC. And it all looks quite nice and well kept and everything. And here's the room. Girls are in here. Nice queen size. Here's a queen size bed, that isn't it? King. It's a king size bed, but it looks massive. Really, really does. All our luggage, because we're about to go out now. So we've had a good night's sleep in here. And yes, this is our room. That's the sofa bed that pulls out. We've put it all back now. So yeah, absolutely ideal. So this is the Hampton by Hilton of Baltimore. Say bye, Casper.